Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is the grand dame here, and she's the reason we're here in the first place, and we've had the opportunity to learn so much about so many plants and so many dietas, and offer so many opportunities for healing for people. Of course, you all know about ayahuasca, the brew for ceremony that contains the leaves of chacruna plant, which is different from the ayahuasca vine. The ayahuasca vine herself, or himself, actually, this plant's masculine, and the chacruna is the feminine component of ayahuasca, the brew. This plant contains harmines, harmalines, things like that, and MAOI inhibitor. When it is brewed in the tea with the chacruna, it's a leaf from a different plant, and I can show you all that in a bit. The DMT comes from the leaves of the chacruna. So when they're cooked together in a very long and beautiful process, we pound the vine, we clean the vine, we pound the vine, we wash the leaves, and we brew them together in a tea. It takes us at least 10 days to make ayahuasca. That's how we make ayahuasca for ceremony and for drinking in the ceremonial tea that is a psychedelic brew. However, the vine alone has a pretty long history, not just in its what people have made to use it for, which I'll get to in a minute, but just the structure of it. This vine was planted here maybe 7 years ago. And it was planted this large. It was kind of a mother vine. There's ones that are quite large, and these come off of it. Generally, ayahuasca will grow at the bottom of strong trees. This is a moderately strong tree. A lot of not great choices on which tree to put them on. This is a guava tree. It's a fruit. The actual vine itself is so strong and so resilient, and it just climbs up and takes over everything. And that idea of perseverance and survival in the jungle has been a dominant idea with the vines, and this vine in particular has the ability to be made into a tea that can open your consciousness and your mind and your connection to the creator and yourself. So it's really amazing, but the actual structure of it itself is pretty extraordinary. When it's harvested, it's very rare that someone will come to the bottom of an ayahuasca like this one and cut this vine right here. Generally speaking, these vines in the wild, it's this thick and big up into the trees. You can see how thick it is up here. We would climb these trees in the jungle, and we would cut the vines up above and allow this to continue growing. Ayahuasca grows very quickly, and it's very aggressive and very strong. So when it's harvested from the upper pieces, and this mother vine is allowed to continue. This vine, when it was cut and brought here, it was cut off of something much larger, and it was probably 3/4 of this size to begin with, and it's probably something that's maybe 20 years old. And then as you get up, the growth that's probably, from here on is maybe 7 years, about 5 to 7. If there was stress and a lot of dryness, this is 5 years. Here at Los Cielos, we have over 250 ayahuasca vines growing out in the jungle, and then many around the property, including up at the front. And we have been here for 4 years. They were planted a few years before. And so this year, we've made some of our first harvests of these plants up here. It'll be another 3 or 4 years before we are able to harvest the ones in the jungle, and they've had time to grow and they can continue thriving. Outside of that, when we get ayahuasca and we don't use our own plants, we do purchase it, and we purchase it from indigenous people who sustainably harvest it and in these same methods. It comes in really fresh on the boat, and we pick it up at like 3 in the morning, and we make sure the funds go to the people who directly go get it for us and take good care of her. So lately, this plant has been being offered in a microdose scenario. Mystic Planet offers these drops and paste that we make here at Los Cielos. We call it just Kapi, which is a reference to the scientific name for ayahuasca. That is pure vine. It is a brew made in the same method as ayahuasca is made, but it only has this vine in it. It only has ayahuasca. Historically, the ayahuasca was traditionally used. They would drink this pure vine or have a dieta with it, and the whole community would dieta together. And the idea was that this plant offered an opportunity for people to open themselves to connection in their community, to make their connection and their conversations and their sovereignty as a community better and stronger. So the ayahuasca was used to open their hearts and their minds to each other and to allow them to advance together as a community with really good conversations, communication, and personal sovereignty that flows into the sovereignty of their tribe, of their pueblos, and of the Amazon at large. So it had a really significant use. It was also used for depression. Depression as a word per se hasn't existed here until, modern culture and society, just like with us. But in times of deep grief and sadness, a brew was made from the ayahuasca vine, and a person would dieta with this to help lift that sadness and that deep energy without the DMT, to give them a very gentle experience. If you just drink the copy vine, if you drink a pretty significant glass of it, other than microdosing in small amounts, you will feel an effect of the harmalines and harmines and the ayahuasca sort of moving through your body. It's very relaxing. So it does have that kind of effect, but it doesn't have any psychedelic effect at all. The chacruna leaves bring the psychedelic effect for the tea that we brew for ayahuasca ceremonies that we hold here at Los Cielos. The benefits, scientifically speaking, of this vine and microdosing it and dieting with it pure are scientifically proven to help people with depression and to open their hearts and their creativity. There's lots of people that have been blogging about their experiences of using it, but from a scientific perspective, the harmalines, harmines, and tetraharmalines in this plant act as in a similar way to like antidepressants or SSRIs. So very interesting new developments in the world, and an interesting way, once again, that the intelligence of such a enormous, beautiful plant spirit energy, where offering an opportunity for people to connect to what they need. Right now, so many people are on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications that alter brain chemistry, that work in the realm of serotonin. So these plants offer a natural, holistic way to do that without any side effects and withdrawal symptoms and untested, unknown things that go on in your mind, your heart, and your being when you take pharmaceuticals. Often people are really like low energy and feels tired and depressed. This has the opposite effect in the experience so far that I have noticed in people in their blogging, in their information they share with us, and then scientific studies are showing that this is an actual reality. I really appreciate and love ayahuasca so much. We're here because of ayahuasca, and that this plant is so intelligent that it would find a way to make itself available to all of you purely, in a way that's open and unfettered by opinions and legislation around what people consider drugs versus medicines, and how intelligent of this plant to completely go outside of that entirely, so to not get caught up in any of it and say, well, here, let me have this offering. So thank you to the spirit of ayahuasca for everything that exists here, for all the healing and the love in my own life, and that entire experience has only led me to want to share it with all of you. And so enjoy your copy, whether you microdose it or you'd like to go deeper. Stay in contact with all of us, and we'll lead you along the way and help you in any way we can. And thank you so much to all the plant beings in ayahuasca.